Hello virtual dreamers, Gregory here. We've just wrapped up the 15th prologue this past week, and I think it's about time I address the 5 grand quests I established when this all started. To do that though, I need to address the year of 2018 and my plans for the next few years as a whole. I've noted down 2018 as the year of beginning, but just what exactly is this the beginning of? Just what is all this the prologue to? Well, sit back, this is gonna be a bit of a long story. We're gonna begin this story, oddly enough, at the place where it ends. While life can be strange and we never know how things will turn out, that doesn't change to me that Sunday, November 6th, 2022, will be the day I've poured the most work into in my entire life. Because that is the day that the VR MMORPG Sword Art Online had its servers opened up in the Sword Art Online novel series. From the very first moment I saw the anime, my life was completely changed. It gave me hope for a future that I only ever thought possible in my wildest dreams. In the years that have come since, I've dedicated countless hours to the pursuit of that future, and a new idea, a wish, a dream has sprouted in my mind. On November 6th, 2022, I'm going to realize the dream VR experience I've always had. I'll be playing a VR game with the VR rig I designed, broadcasting the event to the world, with people who share my passion in tandem, in the best condition of my life, all ready to meet that day head on, screaming "Link Start" at the top of my lungs, as I plunge headfirst into the ocean of VR possibility. As such, the next few years need to be spent doing everything in my power to get ready for that day. With 2018, I set up goals that were designed to put me on the path of doing just that. The first quest, finishing my first game, confronts a problem that I've had for the longest time: finishing things. I find that I get large amounts of motivation from the onset, then steadily begin losing my flame until I ultimately burn out with nothing to show for it at the end, only to look back on what I'd done previously and find that I'd done far more than I thought, and I should have just powered through to the end. I know this is a problem, but for the first time, maybe in my life, I've decided to do something about it rather than just acknowledging it. When I started development of Dreams of Salvation in late 2015, I think I learned quickly how much more I have left to learn and how shaky the foundation of my perceived abilities actually were. With every roadblock that appeared, I felt more and more discouraged. With every impasse, I just kept letting myself go round and round in circles until I finally lost touch with what I was even doing and wound up frozen in place. At the beginning of this year, I finally steeled myself and sat down with one intention: start and finish. I learned how to use Unreal Engine 4, one page of documentation at a time. I set my goals for development to the very bottom of what I could. Because I shouldn't be ashamed of where I start, because it will only make where I finish feel all the more grand. The first game isn't going to be my greatest game, or possibly even a good game, but it will be the stepping stone, along with the other games I intend to make in the future, to make the game that I want to play on November 6th, 2022. Every game I make from now on into the next few years is going to be made with the intention of helping me grow in key areas of development till I feel that I've earned enough skill to make a VR MMORPG as a reasonable proposition versus my current position as a single developer operating out of their bedroom. The second quest of creating a single leg of my VR rig's core system is meant to tackle one thing: demonstrating that my VR rig will work. If this all fails, there's basically no point in anything I'm doing beyond making my games. This is the system that I've dreamed about building ever since I first came up with the design concept in late 2013, and it's a system I still believe in. If it works, it'll be the single greatest vindication of my efforts I can possibly get. The go-ahead to just keep on working on it and finalize it and create something incredible at the end. Plus, if I can just get a leg or a pair of legs of working in VR, it can also serve as a possible demonstrated solution to the VR locomotion problem, thus my VR system should not require any actual motion to work. These are too important to not get out of the way as soon as possible, so making sure that I've tested them out in the very first year of this process is of the highest essence. The third quest, release one video per week, beginning from the first prologue, has multiple purposes. In a certain sense, everyone, I've felt bad that I haven't been able to release as many videos as I wanted to ever since I started school, and I don't really think it's entirely just because I've been busy. I think that I just haven't had enough courage or heart to constantly release more content, and I just haven't put in enough effort to get it done. I want to communicate more and more of my ideas and help more of you, but I just haven't taken the time to do so. Well, the best way to begin something is to set it out a goal and to get to it, and just keep on doing it no matter how small it is. I think that by releasing the prologue once per week, I've become slightly more engaged and attuned to this channel compared to anywhere where I was prior to doing so, and I think that if I keep this up, I'll have the opportunity to just continue branching out and providing more to you all. I want to have this channel as a means of me being able to reach out to this community that's so broad and has so many people of so much talent in various levels, to be able to all of us maybe work together and gather around. So if nothing else, I need to make sure that this channel doesn't just end up going silent again as I've been doing over these past few years, because I think there's more I can offer to this community, and this channel needs to be active for that to happen. While these prologues are still just small little videos for now, I hope that eventually they'll snowball into me creating more and more content for you all and being able to provide more to this community as a result. Eventually, I hope that if my VR rig works, we can begin to encourage more and more development of the highest end of virtual reality, because no matter how good the VR medium can be in theory, we need to begin showing more and more of what this medium will eventually be capable of. Hopefully by the time November 6th, 2022 is around, there'll be more of us around here. I'll have spoken to more of you, I'll have helped more of you, and hopefully more of you will be ready to join me on that day in saying Link starts at the top of our lungs from the very bottom of our hearts. With the fourth quest, reaching a body fat percentage of below 20%, this is actually a bit of an interesting one because it addresses something very personal. Everyone, for the majority of my life, I have been obese or overweight. It's been completely alien as a concept to me to really be at a normal quote-unquote weight based on the BMI scale. I know BMI isn't everything that has to do with your health, but it's always been the thing in my life that I've been the fat kid or the overweight one. No one's ever bullied me over it, and I don't really feel that it's had an impact on my ability to deal with people on a direct manner, but on a subconscious manner, I feel that it's left an impact on me. It makes me feel that I'm not good enough or that I don't deserve people's attention or care. I've been a very reserved and quiet person for the majority of my life in that regard, and I feel that my weight has been a significant part of that, whether it's in a direct or indirect manner. And something strange happened at the end of last year in that for 4 months, I managed to get myself to stick to a much more rigid and structured diet. It really put things into perspective for me because prior to that, it's not like I hadn't tried dieting before, but it's the first time that it worked. Everyone, I've been attempting to sincerely lose weight for the past decade of my entire life, and for the first time, it kind of worked. Whether you think I'm fat or not, the BMI scale, or just plain old everyone's impressions of me, have completely shifted, and it's an entirely alien thing for me, and it really helped boost my confidence for the majority of this year. It proved to me that I have the ability to do something if I stick with it, and the power of just taking small steps for a long time. And in spite of reaching where I am right now, I still want to keep pushing further in the realm of getting a better, more in shape body, and I feel the first step to that is reaching a body fat percentage of below 20%. And in addition, a lot of fat could potentially get in the way of the EMGs that I have, and I would feel completely and utterly ashamed of the idea that my VR rig could potentially work on somebody else but wouldn't work on me because I was too fat. So I'm going to be taking steps to regularize or kind of create a standard body type for myself that I will stick to for the next few years, and getting to that body type to begin with is probably the first step I should take. At the end of the day, it really is mainly just a matter of being able to fit into the VR suit, but I gotta be confident in order to be able to do all this, everyone, and I've been lacking in that for the longest time, so anything I can do to help make that more secure will be helpful, if nothing else. And for the final quest, the Pass the Japanese Learner's Placement Test level N4, this is an interesting one because it kind of goes back a long time too. You see, we only got the internet or a computer in my home sometime around 2007 and 2008, and prior to that, I didn't really have much exposure to a lot of the things that would later come to define a lot of my adolescence, being anime, Japanese culture, just generally web culture as a whole. And for the majority of my life, I just didn't have that as a main thing. I just kind of felt that I liked a lot of these things based on what I saw on TV and occasionally got. But once I got the internet, I got direct exposure to all of it, and I found out that a lot of the things I loved, Nintendo, anime, samurai, ninja, all of these things originated from Japan. So naturally, I became very interested in Japanese culture as a result of it, and I found that a lot of the material back in those days just wasn't translated, and I just wondered, what would it be like if I understood this, if this was just something I could do, and little me just decided, well, I'm gonna try studying Japanese. 11 years later, I feel that I've made a lot more progress than I realized, and now that I have that perspective to look at things, and now that I finished my diet, as I mentioned in that previous quest, I realized that maybe this is something I can finish, and with that idea in mind, I feel that I should finish it. That I shouldn't just let what I've done throughout the majority of my youth just languish, that I shouldn't just abandon all of that effort. Also, it's just worth noting that Sword Art Online itself is a Japanese property. It was made by a Japanese person, it takes place in Japan, and in that sense, it's been heavily influenced by Japanese ideals, and it's, as a property as well, is still highly based in Japan. And while I myself don't currently hold any ambitions of creating something like Sword Art Online, if in the future I felt that it needed to be done and I felt that there wasn't enough being done in that regard to make it great or to give it what I feel I want it to deserve, I think that I would take measures to get myself involved in that kind of a process. But if I ever did something like that, I would only do it under the condition that I have the 100% blessing and support of everyone involved in that respect. And I think that it would say a lot more to those people about my passion for their property and intellectual efforts and just everything that has been done for the Sword Art Online property if I can speak Japanese and I can communicate with them on their own terms rather than getting a translator or just asking them to speak to me in English. I think that passing the Japanese Learner's Placement Test N4, if nothing else, serves as a very direct metric for which I can draw upon, because while Japanese is not suddenly going to become entirely legible just because I passed a test, and even if I pass the N1 test, I doubt that I'll be perfectly fluent and capable in Japanese, I feel that it is at the very least showing that I've taken the initial steps of properly doing something in that area, and it will be a vindication of the efforts that I've put in for the past 11 years of my life. If nothing else, it gives me another group and community to be able to communicate with, because for as many Western Japanese anime fans as there are, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people that love Sword Art Online in Japan that would be more than happy to share their love and passion for the medium with us. So if I can possibly act as a bridge by learning Japanese in that respect, I'd be more than happy to do so. Well then everyone, that just about does it for the video. There's so much more I can say, but I feel that this kind of gets as much as I can reasonably get across within this time period. It's already kind of getting pretty long as it is, but thank you very much for watching this video if you did. And again, I really hope I'll be able to provide more to you all in the future. Thank you very much for watching this video, and don't forget about the quest if you came here for that. Till next time everyone. This has been Gregory, logging out.